Did you know that by vaccinating your children, you can save their lives and the children's lives around them? Vaccinations can be used as protection as your children come in contact with illnesses in their everyday lives. Recently, I have done extensive research on the positive and negatives of vaccinating your kids. Today, I'll be discussing the problems people associate with vaccinations, some simple solutions, and I'll be persuading you to vaccinate your children. Many adults have decided to discontinue the traditional vaccines because they are afraid that their children will come in contact with mental defects. But according to Lena Burgess and the article, Anti-Vaccination, Myths and Facts, published by Medical News Today, these assumptions are nothing more than just myths. Some children are unable to be vaccinated due to their physical and mental illnesses. But by vaccinating your child, you could help save their lives as well as your own. Recent studies have been done to prove that autism is a side effect of the shots. According to Steve C. and the article, Vanishing Vaccinations, Why Are So Many Americans Opting Out of Vaccinating Their Children, published by the University of Michigan Journal of Law Reform, it has been stated that the shots are becoming less popular because traces of autism are caused by the shots. Today, Americans choose to believe these studies because they always want to have something to complain, converse, and argue about. Parents are also believing this because they feel as if they don't have freedom to their child's health anymore. By taking these selfish actions and retreating against the law, they are putting their children and the children that their kids come in contact with on a daily basis at risk. Now that I have stated the problems, I will start leading you to some simple solutions that you can take by vaccinating your children. By vaccinating your child, you are taking the first step to having a brighter future for you and your kids' lives. According to Kai K. in the article, The Science of Persuasion, Vaccines Save Lives, but what is the most effective way to convince worried parents, published by Science, it is stated that you need to make the parents realize that their choice is not a risk-free choice. By learning that their choice is not a risk-free choice, they are realizing that they're putting other children's lives at risk when they do not vaccinate their children. Parents also need to realize that their freedom needs to be lowered in order to help the safety of their kids. Other children's lives should be taken into account at this time to make sure that they are staying alive. By paying a small price up front, you could save a life and a couple $1,000s. According to Matthew Harper in the article, The Power to Save Lives, published by Forbes, Bill Gates offered a vaccine for only 23 cents. Although the price has increased today, it could still help you save the life of a loved one. According to Kai K. in the article, The Science of Persuasion, Vaccines Save Lives, but what is the most effective way to convince worried parents, published by Science, a simple solution is to make the parents scared. Today, Americans are compelled more by fear than we are by reason. If I stood up here and told you all the reasons you should vaccinate your child, you would not be compelled to take action. But if I shared stories with you about children dying, you would be so scared about your child dying that you would take action. In the article, it states that a 12-year-old little girl got measles because the measles vaccine was not discovered yet, so her dad could not give it to her. If it had already been discovered and she had got the vaccination, her life would have been saved. If you do not vaccinate your children, you could lose them at just the young age of 12. Now that you have understood the simple solutions, let's take a look at how these vaccinations can improve your life and the lives of your children. Vaccines have many positive effects on the world, and they reduce the spread of illnesses. According to Deborah Lee and Rosalind Carson DeWitt in the article, Point, Vaccines Save Lives, published by Points of View, Vaccine and Health Hazards, it is safer to vaccinate your children than to let them ride in a vehicle. By vaccinating your children, you are keeping your family and all the children that your kids come in contact on a daily basis safe. By allowing your kids to be putting their life at risk, by allowing them to ride in a vehicle, you are putting them at a higher risk to die than you are by vaccinating them. So why not take a chance and vaccinate your children and save as many lives as possible? Also, by vaccinating your children, you are ensuring that the illnesses that could be prevented are being prevented for their entire lives. Vaccinating your children also reduces the stress of what your kids come in contact with on a daily basis. If you vaccinate them, you don't have to worry about the illnesses that they come in contact with. But if you choose not to vaccinate them, you have to make sure that they're not around other kids that are sick. Today I have discussed the problems that are encountered with vaccinations, some simple solutions, and I have persuaded you to take action by vaccinating your children in the future. Vaccinations are a large controversial topic in the U.S. today, so let's take the right steps forward and vaccinate our children.